What's up, you guys? Steven here for Off the Shelf Movie Night to talk to you about physical media, about Blu-rays, about 4Ks, about the things that we like to buy and own, the way we like to own our media, our movies and TV, rather than renting them in perpetuity through streaming or buying on iTunes. If you like this kind of stuff, please give me a like and a subscribe. It really helps get the word out, and you can be part of the conversation that we're going to be continuously having. I've got a few little things here, nothing big today. The first thing is I got great news. I ordered 2 things from the Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday sale, and I got an email today that those have been shipped. So we'll have those to go over pretty soon. So I'm really excited about that. I can't wait to share those with you. And I had pre-ordered the Beastmaster. That appears to be in a separate shipment. I know they had some trouble with their replicator on the bonus disc for that movie, so it's probably going to be a little bit delayed. So we'll get to that as soon as we can get to it. I got one little quick pickup today that I'm going to open up here for you. Then I want to ask you if you've been asked this question. This is more about conversation. Once in a while, it's just good for us to chat, right? So let's get to this pickup, and then I'll ask you the question that I was asked, and then tell you what my answer was, and hopefully I'll get your answers. So what I picked up was the Total Recall 4K. So this is a new 4K scan from, and you can see it there on the bottom, there's the back of it, from Studio Canal. Studio Canal did the Flash Gordon scan, which was pretty stunning. I hear that this scan is good. It's really good, but not like, you know, demo quality. So we do have a slip, which is great. Sadly, on the inside we have the same artwork. This is a big studio release. There's an important thing about this big studio release, though, that I'm very, very excited for, that's not as common these days as it used to be. And that is something happening in the bonus features. Now, we haven't done a bonus feature breakdown in a long time. We will do a bonus features breakdown on this release, though, because of the extra steps they went to for this particular film. Total Recall is Paul Verhoeven sort of reimagining of a Philip K. Dick story. This is 1989, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure you will. So the actual case is, the same. So it has Sharon Stone in it. This may have been the first time I kind of noticed who Sharon Stone was, maybe. I don't know when Basic Instinct came out. I can't remember. It seems like it was after that, though. So anyway, science fiction film, really great film. Let's get into it here. Still got this little tag on it. There we go. Get that off. All right, so let me just pull this digital code out off camera. Because as I said, I don't not use digital. Streaming has its place, right? For travel, has its place. So inside here, we get the Blu-ray, we get the 4K. No real artwork on anything but the main disc there. And then we get then there's a bonus disc. So the thing that got me most excited, and it's a standard black Amory case. Let me just take a quick peek. No reversible artwork. Of course, this is a big studio release. But what they did do that is great is there is a film in here from a company called Ballyhoo Films that is a documentary about the Carolco studio. So in the 80s and 90s, there were a handful of studios. There was Orion Pictures, there was New World Media, Metro Golan Globus or Canon Group, and then also Carolco, that were doing, a lot of very important genre films from that era. And Carolco, like most of those others, went the way of the dodo. So there's a documentary in here I'm very excited to watch. I'm nearly as excited to watch the documentary on Carolco films as I am seeing this new version of Total Recall. So I'm going to pop this out. I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to watch the documentary. I'll check out any other additional bonus features that might be here, and we'll do a bonus features breakdown. And I'll, of course, throw you a little review of the movie, too, and let you know what I thought of the transfer and that kind of thing. If you haven't seen Total Recall, you have really been depriving yourself. It is such a good film. So, to the question that I was asked. I've been asked this many times before. I bet you have, too. I'm just curious about what your answer was. So you have people who don't collect physical media. And it's okay not to collect physical media, you know? I mean, it has to be okay because not everybody collects everything. I don't collect, you know, yard gnomes. And that's okay because it's not my jam, you know? So I was asked, someone asked me, you know, are you ever going to watch all those films? When will you ever watch all of those films? You know, and I'm probably in the neighborhood of 1,000 Blu-rays. So my collection is smaller than probably some of you guys' collections, because I've really been trying to bulk it up to replenish, you know, missing stock, if you will. But so I just stopped and looked at them, and you know, because some things make sense to a collector, especially the movie fan. Every collector's different. I think this is something that's in common, maybe a little bit with music and books. You know, it's media collecting where we understand this. And my simple answer was no, I'm never going to watch all these films, at least not in a consecutive way. For me, what owning all these films is truly about is access. You know, I'm probably not going to have time. I've actually thought a few times about, you know, a New Year's resolution to try and watch every film in my collection throughout that year. It would be very difficult because I'm always adding to the collection, and I tend to want to prioritize the newest things that I bought. Now, I do, when I buy something, this is a me rule, and if you have this rule too, please tell me. I think a lot of you don't, because I see a lot of you buy in larger quantity than I do. I don't do the Dollar Tree stuff, usually, unless I hear there's a good, you know, one of you guys posted there's a cool magnet release or something like that. And I can't buy boutique stuff in bulk the way some of you guys do. So my rule for me is if I buy it, I watch it. So if it's on my shelf, not only have I seen it probably previously in some other way, in the theater or on TV or whatever, but if I bought it, I watched it. I you know, when I'm going to get back to it, who knows? Okay, so with that said, back to the question at hand. Are you ever going to watch all those films? So no, I'm not. But my answer was access. I like to think of a film like on a Saturday night and we're hanging out, you know, with friends or whatever, you know, pre-COVID and post-COVID. You may hear some weird grunting. I'm going to show you. Let me just show you what that is because we're about to lose her. Let me introduce you. Let me introduce. I'm destroying my set here to do this for you, but let me introduce you. Everyone should meet the fat cat. Kaylee. This is Kaylee. This is my partner in crime. She watches movies with me. Everyone should have a fat cat, right? All right, so back to where was I here? Let me get the camera back. Anyway, as I was saying, it's about access. It's about pre-COVID and again post-COVID, once we're past all of this stuff, hanging out with friends, talk about a movie that none of us have seen in a while, and I just go pluck it off my shelf and watch it. You can't always do that with streaming. I've been working on trying to compile a list of the movies that are in my collection that aren't available to stream or have jumped between so many streaming services you can't keep up with them. And it is difficult because it is a vast majority of my collection. And then if you want to see it in 4K in particular, it makes it even more difficult. So it's about simply access, and that's always my answer. I'm like, if you're sitting at home and you decide at your house that you want to watch Total Recall, are you going to be able to? No, you're not. Not unless you go to, well, I mean, is this streaming anywhere? I don't think it is, but I mean, I'd have to look that up to be sure. But I mean, certainly you could go to Amazon Prime or iTunes and probably buy it or rent it. Certainly, You could do that. But for not much more, I got this on sale on Amazon for $13 in 4K with bonus features that aren't going to be available to stream. So I'm actually saving money in the long run. Am I making something? Am I putting something physically in my house that I'm going to have to make room for? For sure, yeah. And that is definitely a consideration, especially people who live in a smaller place. And I have lived in a smaller place with my movies stacked around me. I've done that. So, yeah. In the long run, I'm saving money. I have access. This movie will not be changed from this version on my copy. Not the case with things like Disney Plus releases. I think my light there is going to die. But yeah, not the case. They have changed things. If you go and watch Splash on Disney Plus right now, the classic, it's a Tom Hanks, Daryl Hannah film, they have added digital hair, which looks horrible, over this tiny little shot of Daryl Hannah's butt. That shot of her butt, in the scheme of things, probably doesn't mean that much to me, like now. First time I saw it when I was a kid, it meant a whole lot. It did. But what it does mean to me now as an adult is it's about film preservation. That's not how the film was made. That's not how it was shot. If it, later on we determine culturally that it was a mistake or whatever, which is something that's happening in some older films, that's great. Leave it that way and let's learn from that. Let's grow from it. Don't erase it from history. So yeah, those are the reasons I gave them. One, to have the movie the way it was made. And two, access. Whatever movie I want to see, I can pull it from my shelf and watch it. So has anyone ever asked you, why do you own all these movies? Or are you ever going to watch all these movies? If they have, tell me in the comments what your answer was. I'd love to talk about it because, I think to us collectors of media, it makes sense. To the average person who doesn't dig any deeper than the last 2, 3, 4 years on Netflix and doesn't watch anything that's not there, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it doesn't. But that leads to a whole other discussion that I probably will do at some point on what I call disposable media, which is a lot of what we have on streaming now. But that's another discussion for another time. I could probably do an hour just on that. I'm not going to put you through that. But anyway, leave me some thoughts in the comments. I know this is a very short video, but it's just been on my mind, and I just had one thing to open that I wanted to share with you. Like I said, we've got Vinegar Syndrome stuff coming. I have some other Amazon purchases coming. I'm going to be doing a best pickups of 2020. I've already done, I think it was 6 films, top 6 most disturbing films in my collection. But I want to do I did my top 4Ks for the year. But I want to just show you overall my favorite things that I bought this year. So we're going to do that. That may be a top 5 or a top 10, whatever. And feel free to share those with me too, but save them for that video. I'd love to hear what your top 5s and top 10 purchases of the year were. Anyway, until next we meet, pull something cool off the shelf, share it with your friends and family, and remind them why physical media is the best way to watch films and TV. Me and Kaylee, we'll see you guys on the next one.